One of the best ways to practice guitar and get your riffs tight, get clarity in your notes, and perfect your timing is playing along with metal backing tracks. I'm going to show you a couple of ways you can do that. One's very simple. The second method is actually still simple, but I prefer that. I'll tell you why. I'll also show you at the end of the video where you can download some killer metal backing tracks to play along with for free. Now, the easiest way to do this is kind of the obvious way, is just play the backing track maybe through your computer, and then you've got an amplifier, just jam along with it. So you can just do this right here. Let's just play it. Okay, so that was cool. That's effective. That's a great way to practice. Just play it through your computer, the backing track, and then you're just jamming along with your amp or whatever you're playing through. But there's a more effective way to go about this. I'm going to share what that is and why you might want to consider doing it this way. This is step one of three that we're going to go through real quick here. So I'm in my DAW, my digital audio workstation, for those who don't know what that is. And of course, I've got this set up to have a basic home recording studio. If you're new at this stuff, because I was new at 1.2, I do have a video starting from scratch. It's a very easy method to follow, everything you need. So watch that. There's a link in the description for that video if you're new at this. What I'm going to do is I am going to open a new song here. I'm using PreSonus Studio One Pro. It doesn't really matter what studio you're using, which DAW you're using. The best DAW is the one that you're familiar with and that works best for you. This happens to be what I work with. So I'm clicking new, and I'm just going to say practice. So actually, let's call this backing track. I'm going to name it backing track. You can name it whatever you want, doesn't really matter. So click, we've got a blank canvas here. So two simple ways that you can go about this part right here, step one again. So I can go to my files, you see all my backing tracks here. Again, you're gonna get these for free, and I'll show you where at the end. So the easiest way to do this is just take this file and just drag it right into your DAW. I rarely go to one, I'll just leave some room. I'll go to like two, maybe even three. So we drag it in and poof, magically it is there. Now, if that method doesn't work in your DAW, the other way to do this, I'm just going to delete this track here, remove track, is you'll just go to wherever you can add a track in your DAW. So I can add a track. I can call this, we'll just call it track. Actually, let's not call it track, metal track, because that's what this is. It's a metal track. All right, so we're going to click OK. Now our track is there. See, when we drug it in before, it created a track, so now we have the track. So I'm just going to do the same thing, just drag it into the track. And same process right there. So I can click play. Wait a minute, that doesn't sound like the track at all. That sounds really slow. Well, that's because most DAWs, and this is the next and final for this first easy step, most DAWs will have like a default tempo set, the BPM. You can see down here, my BPM is set at 120, and that's just default. Well, this track obviously is not 120. So most backing tracks that you get will have the BPM with it. A lot of times that might be in the tablature. In the case of my backing tracks, I always include the BPM in the tabs. So let's just go grab that real quick. So this riff is called Thrash More. So it's at 151. So all we're going to do here is we're just going to go down to the BPM. We're going to type in 151, click enter. Now let's play the track. Okay, we're set. Step one, you are done with step one. Let's move on to step two. Before we do that though, why this is so important and why I encourage you to do it this way, to play it through your DAW, is because number one, you can record yourself playing along with this track. And we're going to do that next. But the reason for recording yourself is so that you can go back and listen to that track, the backing track with your playing, your recorded guitar track, objectively, and be honest with yourself in how tight it sounds, right? Okay, well, does it sound tight? Does it sound kind of like muddy? Like, where am I going wrong here? So that's one reason to do that. Now, another reason, well, I'll share that in a second because the other reason is much more powerful, but let's get to this step first, okay? So the next obvious thing we're going to do is what? Create another track. So we're going to add another track here. We're going to call this guitar. This is our track that we're going to play along with the backing track. Now, in my case, you probably use plugins and that sort of thing. I'm just going to go to one of my favorite plugins here, We're going to do the Bogren Digital AmpKnob. This is their BDM series. I think it's called the 410 or something like that. Yeah, so this sounds beefy. It's one knob. That's why I love this amp sim so much, because it's just one knob. It's like very simple. I got a whole video on this, by the way. I'll leave that in the description as well. So we'll click the record button so we can just get our tone here. What I might do is just cut my level up just a little bit more. I mean, by default, everything's just like zeroed out here. It's just like level. So I'll cut my guitar up just a little bit more. So now we can go back here and I can press the record button so we're actually recording this track. I'll let it play a little bit and then I'll come in. So I just have that coming out of the monitors, by the way. I didn't like dump it down to MP3 and sync it with the video like I normally do. But in any case, though, you can do that. You can record yourself and then go back and listen to it. And if you want to dump it down to MP3, you can do that. That's fine. But in this case, you can tell, you can go back and listen and see how close you are to that, right? See how tight it sounds. So let's just listen to where I came in real quick here. Okay, pretty cool. Now, I wrote this track, so I mean, obviously I should know it. But again, this is just going to help you get tighter, build accuracy, and it's going to help with your timing too. Now, number two reason why I want you to do it this way, and this is probably a more powerful reason. Okay, we got it down, we practiced to the backing track, but let's record something slightly different that complements this rhythm. Let me just see what we can come up with here. I'm going to record this too. And I'll sync this, by the way, so you'll hear like the clear version of this. Okay, cool. So you got the idea. You can complement the rhythm, come up with something completely different, and then go back and listen to that and just kind of build on that. And this is one of the things I encourage you to do. I strongly encourage you to do this. As you learn things, as you learn new riffs, new licks, whatever they may be, I want you to start adding things to make it your own. That's what I want you to do, because that's where you start really building your own style. So real quick, where can you get these tracks at? So download Metal Riffs and Licks. It's completely free. There's a link in the description of this video. It's a complete ultimate metal guitar practice guide. You've got several backing tracks. Here's the cool thing. I even give you tracks like this without the guitars, with just the bass and the drums. So doing what we just talked about, you know, making that riff your own, coming up with like your own style of that riff, well, you can really go off the beaten path and create like crazy with those tracks. Now, if you already have Metal Riffs and Licks, the next step is to get into the Jason Stallworth Guitar Academy. I'd love to see you in there. But I do hope this lesson helps you. This is a very effective way to practice, so try this out. As always, keep it metal and keep playing music.